Welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host, Tom Downey. The breaking news on today's show is that Dak Prescott plans to sign his franchise tag by Monday for the Dallas Cowboys, ending whatever potential threat of a holdout that there was when there really wasn't any. Here's what this means for the Cowboys and for Dak Prescott. The number one thing, at least in my eyes, is that the deadline for a long-term deal hasn't changed. That still, of course, is the end goal for Dak and the end goal for the Cowboys. That remains July 15th. That is the deadline the Cowboys have to get a long-term deal done, or else Dak Prescott must play on the franchise tag. Now, technically speaking, Dak signing the tag means the Cowboys can't rescind it anymore, which, just quick note here, they were never going to. It was a Florio creation. They were never going to rescind the tag. It was never on the cards. Or in the cards. Once it's signed, officially 100% speaking, can't happen. Now, it does allow the Cowboys to trade Dak, but I'll let you guys in on a secret. They're not going to do that. Or they're not going to trade away Dak Prescott. It does mean that Dak is under contract once he signs it, which means he does have to report to training camp, which he's going to. He was never going to hold out because there was no benefit for Dak Prescott holding out of training camp. I think this is a positive thing for Dak and for the Dallas Cowboys. But let me know what your one-word reaction is to Dak signing his franchise tender. I think it's good. I think that's a very positive thing on that one. So give me your one-word reaction here, and then we'll get to your Super Chats as well. Let me see here. I see bonkers. I don't know why bonkers. Peace. Finally. Good is a good one. Awesome I see coming in. Finally from Kevin Davis. People still spamming Jamal Adams in the comments. I do appreciate that one here. Woo, great, also coming in. No one says crap. I don't know why, but I guess we'll break that down more in the Q&A because I just don't understand some of your guys' mindsets. Now, if you want a Dak Prescott jersey or any Cowboys jersey, they are 25% off at chatsports.com/Cowboys jersey. You can get 25% off a Cowboys jersey, of at least the ones available, at that link. They got Amari Cooper, they got Zeke, they got DeMarcus Lawrence, they got Dak Prescott, of course, as well. They are 25% off. Go check it out. It's at chatsports.com/Cowboys jersey. Now, again, the report is that Dak's going to sign his franchise tag by Monday, means he has to report to camp. So if you guys thought there was going to be a Dak holdout, I think we made it pretty clear there wasn't going to be. This ends the possibility of it. Ends the possibility of rescinding the tag, whatever, does potentially allow for any type of crazy, rescinding the tag. Those aren't going to happen. There are some super chats coming in that we want to get to as well. South of Heaven 88, now we pay more next year. Patrick Mahomes is going to break the bank. Reminder here, and we'll go to the timeline as well because I want to emphasize this. This does not mean a long-term deal cannot or will not be reached. This is simply him signing the tag. This does not mean a long-term deal isn't going to happen. Doesn't mean it can't happen. All this means is that on June 21st, Dak is expected to sign the tender by today or tomorrow. July 15th is still the date that matters for the Cowboys and for Dak Prescott. That is the deadline for a new deal for franchise tag players to sign. If a deal gets done on or before that date, then of course you got the long-term deal. If it doesn't happen, you can't talk contract with a franchise tag player until after the season. That's the deadline that matters right now. And for those on ESPN who are like, well, what if Dak holds out? It's not going to happen. As we've said from the get-go, Andy Dalton came in as a backup option. If that's not clear right now, I'm not sure how to make you guys see. It doesn't seem like many of you in the comment section feel that way. But that's the reality. That's the truth here. That Dak's the quarterback one, Dalton's going to be the backup, and they'll try and develop Ben DiNucci potentially into something as a 7th-round pick. So I'm curious to see how that all turns out there. Now, Super Chat from Mr. Wright, and I want to break this down because I didn't read it all the way through when I first saw it come in. PFF has a grade of 75 on quarterback who threw 40 times a game, 34 being the lowest, and 54 is Mahomes. Dak is 14.3 on that list. Jeff Kavanaugh brought it up. Your thoughts? My thoughts are this. I don't understand the numbers being thrown out here. How can 34 be the lowest and Dak be 14.3? So I'm not sure what the numbers are. And I did not listen to, or I should say watch Jeff's video on this. So DM me on Twitter, Mr. Wright, and we'll get the exact numbers for you. Elijah Williams, how much money in the cap does this free up? Nothing. The salary cap numbers were already factored in for the franchise tag of Dak Prescott. It's $31.4 million. If he plays on the tag next year, it's set at 37.7-ish. There's some rounding involved in both of those numbers. All of the salary cap projections you've seen for the Cowboys for this year have already factored in the franchise tag. Now, an extension, regardless of what the number looks like, is probably going to reduce that figure. I think this is a good over-under put together here by producer Harrison. $35 million per year. O for over, U for under. If you go over, I don't think it's going to be by very much. If you go under, I don't think it's going to be by very much either. I think that's around the number they'll be at. And yes, that's a massive number, and you guys probably don't like it, and I understand why. Because, wait, why is Dak getting paid more or the same as Russell Wilson? He's never won a Super Bowl. I get it. But you're not just competing against Wilson here. And this is the heir of the Cowboys' ways. You're also competing now against Patrick Mahomes and against Lamar Jackson and against Deshaun Watson, who when those guys get paid by the end of next year, it's going to be probably in the 40s. So you're competing against that. You messed up in the end by not getting a deal done before Goff or before Wentz. That cost you money. Now you're competing against a whole different batch of players. Would you rather make Dak the highest paid quarterback in the NFL now and save $3 million, or make him the second highest paid quarterback in a couple months and not make him the highest paid quarterback, but you're paying more money in the end? Now, if you want the best Cowboys coverage here, well, you've come to the right place. We got almost 600 people live watching right now. We know not all of you have hit that big red button and subscribe. So if you have not already, I want you guys to hit that big red button, subscribe to us here at the Cowboys Report. Now, we've brought this up before here in terms of the timelines and the money and all of that kind of stuff. If it's a 5-year deal, and I wanted to bring this up again because I saw it in the comment section, the $45 million per year number, or the $45 million per year in year 5. Again, if that's a 5-year deal, they want the structures. A 4-year deal at $35 million per year, as an example, again, these are examples to help illustrate how years can play a difference in it. A 4-year, $35 million per year deal, that's the numbers on the right. It's 29, 33, 37, 41. That's how the numbers flow. On a 5-year deal, it's a little bit less. So if you want the 4-year structure, the key note here is, guys, the more years you add, the more per year it ends up taking, and more, or it should add. Wow, botched that pretty hard. More it adds to you in terms of the overall money and the per year value relative to the total money and the total guarantees, all that kind of stuff. Now, again, the news for you guys just now tuning in is that Dak plans to sign his franchise tag by Monday. As a double, triple emphasis, because I still see some confusion in the comments, and I get it, it's tricky. This has nothing to do with the change or update or anything on a potential long-term deal. This just means Dak is signing his franchise tag, and it means he's going to show up to training camp. Again, as a reminder, camp's going to come around the same time or a little bit after that July 15th deadline. So he was never going to hold out anyway because it didn't make any sense. Because if you don't sign Dak by that July 15th deadline, you can't do a deal during the season. It has to come after the year ends. And if you don't get a deal done with Dak by that July 15th deadline, well, it's two SARs that the Cowboys might end up going the Kirk Cousins route with Dak Prescott. So cast your votes for me in the comments. Will the Cowboys sign Dak to a long-term deal? Type Y for yes, or type N for no. And a good note, by the way, coming in from executive producer Brett. This does, technically speaking, make Dak Prescott, at least for the per year amount, the highest paid quarterback or highest paid Cowboy in history. Tony Romo never made $31.6 million or $31.4 million per year. Whenever the long-term deal gets signed, of course, that would replace Dak as the highest-paid Cowboy in history. Welcome to life in the NFL, or for the past 6 years, the cap's gone up by about $10 million per season. Now, these are the highest-paid quarterbacks right now in the per-year side of it. You're already looking at that 35-ish. Maybe it's a little bit less. Maybe it's a little bit more. That's around the figures the two sides have been throwing back and forth. Years have always been the biggest problem involved there. That's just the mindset of where things are for the Cowboys. And of course, guaranteed, also a big factor. I will make note that Goff and Wentz both got more guaranteed money than Russell Wilson did, and the Cowboys' alleged offer was a little bit less than those three, and we know how much guaranteed money matters in the NFL, although on a 4-year deal, you kind of figured Dak would end up getting all of it. Now again, a couple notes here I do want to make is that signing the tender means the Cowboys can't rescind it. Was never on the table, was never in the cards. It does technically mean the Cowboys could trade Dak Prescott. Also not going to happen here. In the end, I view this as a positive sign for Dak Prescott and for the Dallas Cowboys. I think it's a good move in the right direction. And it, again, shows, hey, Dak is going to show up to camp. He was never going to hold out. But for a lot of those who said, hey, this is Dak being selfish, maybe this helps calms things down just a little bit more. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.